The theater lights dimmed slowly, and a hush rolled through the audience like a held breath, the kind that carries expectation but not yet belief. Onto the vast AGT stage stepped a thin, young boy with eyes far older than his years. His clothes were simple, slightly worn, and his shoes scuffed from long walks that had never led anywhere glamorous. When Simon Cowell asked his name and background, the boy's voice trembled, not from fear, but from memory. He spoke of growing up without parents, of nights spent listening to distant radios outside closed windows, and of a single song that followed him through every lonely chapter of his life. Hotel California. The audience shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether they were about to witness a hopeful miracle or another fragile dream breaking under bright lights. Simon leaned back, arms crossed, his expression guarded. He had heard thousands of stories, thousands of singers, thousands of versions of this very song. The judges exchanged glances that quietly said, "This is a dangerous choice." The boy nodded once, gripping the microphone like it was the last solid thing in the world, and when the first haunting guitar notes echoed through the hall, no one expected what was about to happen next. From the very first line, something changed in the room. His voice wasn't loud, and it wasn't polished in the way singing coaches prefer. Instead, it was raw, textured with pain and hope woven tightly together. Each lyric seemed less sung and more lived, as if Hotel California was not a song but a place he had actually stayed, a metaphorical shelter where lost souls wander endlessly. The audience leaned forward instinctively. Phones stopped recording. Whispers faded. His pronunciation was imperfect, yet somehow that made it more honest, more human. When he reached the line, "You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave," a shiver ran through the judges' table. Howie Mandel's mouth slowly fell open. Sofia Vergara pressed a hand to her chest. Even Simon's posture shifted, arms uncrossed now, eyes locked on the boy. The Orphan sang not to impress, but to survive, pouring years of abandonment, hunger, and quiet resilience into every note. The song stretched on, time dissolving until the stage felt smaller and the story felt enormous, wrapping around everyone in the room. Midway through the performance, the camera caught Simon Cowell blinking rapidly, his jaw clenched tight. This was not the reaction of a man easily moved. He had built a career on skepticism, on being the immovable wall that talent must climb. Yet here he was, visibly shaken. The boy's voice cracked slightly on a high note, not from lack of skill, but from emotion, and instead of weakening the performance, it shattered something invisible in the audience. Tears began to fall quietly in the crowd. Some people held hands. Others covered their mouths in disbelief. This was no longer a competition. It was a confession. The orchestra faded to a soft echo, and the boy stood alone with his voice, unprotected, unfiltered, fearless. When he finished the final line, he closed his eyes as if bracing for rejection, as if ready to be told once again that hope is temporary. For a heartbeat, there was silence so deep it felt sacred. Then the theater exploded. The standing ovation was instant and thunderous, but the boy didn't look up. He kept his head bowed, shoulders shaking, overwhelmed by a response he had never imagined for himself. Sophia was openly crying now. Howie wiped his eyes, shaking his head in disbelief. Then Simon stood. Slowly, deliberately. The crowd screamed, sensing something monumental before it even happened. Simon walked toward the golden buzzer, his face streaked with tears he made no effort to hide. "I've heard this song 1,000 times," he said, his voice breaking, "and I have never heard it like that." The boy finally looked up, eyes wide with fear and wonder. Simon continued, "You didn't just sing. You made us feel what it's like to be alone and to survive it." Then, without another word, Simon slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained down like sunlight, wrapping the boy in a moment that felt unreal. He dropped to his knees, sobbing openly, buried under gold and disbelief. As the confetti settled, the judges rushed the stage, lifting the boy to his feet, hugging him like family he never had. The audience chanted his name, a sound he would remember for the rest of his life. Backstage interviews later revealed more of his journey, sleeping in shelters, singing to drown out hunger, believing music was the only place he truly belonged. Clips of the performance spread across the internet within minutes. Millions watched, cried, and shared. Comments flooded in from around the world. This healed something in me. I've never cried like this on AGT. Simon Cowell crying? That's how you know it's real. The boy became a symbol, not just of talent, but of resilience, of the idea that even the most broken beginnings can lead to moments of breathtaking beauty. His voice carried further than he ever could have walked. Long after the lights dimmed and the stage emptied, the impact of that night remained. It wasn't just about a golden buzzer or a viral moment, it was about being seen. For one orphan boy, a song written decades ago became a bridge from isolation to belonging. For millions watching, it was a reminder that greatness doesn't always arrive wrapped in confidence or perfection. Sometimes it arrives trembling, carrying scars, asking only to be heard. Simon Cowell would later call it one of the most emotional moments of his career. But for the boy, it was the moment his life truly began. No longer invisible, no longer alone. Just a voice, a story, and a future finally wide open. No checkout required. No doors locked behind him. Only a road forward paved with hope and music. Musical note sparkles.